At 2 a.m. UTC of February 2026, a voice in Persian breaks the radio static, calmly saying,
Davayo, Davayo.
Then, it starts reading numbers. Not news, not propaganda, not music. Just numbers. This is not a podcast. This is not a pirate radio station. This is a technology intelligence agencies used as far back as the Cold War, and maybe even earlier, to talk to spies. And it just came back the exact day the Iran war began. For over a century, there's been a category of radio broadcast so strange, so creepy, and so unexplained that even governments never officially admit they exist. But their transmissions are impossible to hide. They're called number stations. They don't have ads, no one knows who pays for them. They don't have hosts, apart from the voice that appears every so often. They don't really have a purpose for regular people. But for spies, they're perfect. And in February 2026, radio hobbyists around the world started hearing a brand new one, speaking Farsi, transmitting at the exact moment the Iran conflict escalated. Which raises a very uncomfortable question. Who is this for? Because number stations don't broadcast unless someone, somewhere, is listening. Number stations are shortwave radio broadcasts that read sequences like this: 5, 9, 12, 17. Over and over, sometimes for 20 minutes. Sometimes with a robotic voice. Sometimes with music before it. Sometimes with men speaking. Sometimes with women counting. Sometimes even with children. But no explanation is given. There's no station ID, just numbers. And here's the important part. Anyone in the world can hear it. But only one person will understand it. The theory is that these messages are encrypted with something called a one-time pad, a code system so secure that if used correctly, it becomes almost mathematically impossible to break. Which means a spy sitting in an apartment anywhere in the world only needs a radio, a piece of paper, and a pencil. No internet, no phone, no trace. You can't hack radio waves bouncing off the atmosphere. This is Cold War spycraft at its finest. And even though the Cold War finished, number stations never really stopped. During the Cold War, both the US and the Soviet Union ran dozens of these stations. Some became legendary among radio enthusiasts. One number station played English folk music before reading numbers. Another just buzzed endlessly for 40 years. That might even be a topic for another video. And even though these number stations became stuff of legends between us regular folk, these were not mysteries to intelligence agencies. They were tools. In fact, several arrested spies later confirmed in court that yes, they received orders through number stations. Like in the case of the Cuban Five. In the court case United States v. Alvarez, went on to say that they had received instructions from the Cuban number station known as Atención. This wasn't paranoia, though it sounds like it. This is documented spycraft. But after the Soviet Union fell, most of them went silent. Until now. On the 28th of February 2026, listeners logged a new transmission. It had Persian language, a shortwave frequency around 7.9 megahertz, twice a day, and a voice saying, "Attention, attention." Then, long strings of numbers. The station has been labeled V32 by monitoring groups. And here's where it gets interesting. Using radio direction finding, hobbyists traced the signal's origin to an area near Böblingen, Germany, very close to US military infrastructure. So this is not in Iran, but Germany. And almost immediately, reports started coming in that the signal was being jammed. Which means someone doesn't like that this is being broadcast. I don't know, for me, you don't jam a prank. You jam something important. Because this method has advantages, modern tech doesn't. You can monitor phones. You can track internet traffic. You can block satellite communications. You cannot stop a shortwave signal from hitting an entire continent. The fact that number stations are so low-tech actually helps in this high-tech world we live in. This is the perfect system for communicating with sleeper agents, resistance cells, intelligence assets inside a hostile country, operatives in areas with no safe digital communication. In other words, exactly the kind of situation you'd expect in a modern conflict with Iran, a country that has been known to shut down its entire internet during crises, that jams satellite and GPS communications, that absolutely will form an information barrier if it needs to. No country officially acknowledges running number stations, because admitting to it would confirm 3 things. 1. That they run spy networks abroad. 2. That those networks are still active. And 3. That this method still works. So the broadcasts just exist. No press release. No explanation. Just a voice in the night, reading numbers like it has for over a century. No government has claimed responsibility. They never do. But analysts and radio experts have a few ideas, them being Theory 1, US or NATO intelligence. Since the suspected transmitter location is in Germany, this theory is actually very plausible. Theory 2, Israeli intelligence. Given the region of the conflict and the timing, this is also a very heavily speculated theory. And why would they be doing this? For Theory 3, communications to assets inside Iran. So that would explain the Persian language. And Theory 4, pure psychological warfare. This number station would let Iran know we can talk to people inside your borders and you can't stop it. But remember, the station only exists if someone is meant to decode it. Which means there are people somewhere with a key to this code waiting for instructions. And this is happening right now. Number stations are unsettling for one reason. They prove spy networks are not movie fiction. They prove that there are, in fact, man-made mysteries that are hidden in plain sight and not meant for us. They're active, they're real, and they're ongoing. Somewhere, someone hears this broadcast and suddenly knows what to do next. We don't know who, we don't know where, We don't know what the message says, but we know it's being received. And we know that V32 started the same day a war did. Number stations are like fossils from the Cold War, except this fossil just started talking again. And it's speaking Persian, which means one thing is certain. One of the oldest spy technologies in the world is still being used because it still works. This is Bob. Thank you.